Welcome to Tales from the Tips. If you're catching us on YouTube, make sure you give us a like and hit that subscribe button. Drop us and leave us a comment below. We love to hear from you. You can find every episode where you find your favorite podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and also on the Odyssey app. Just search for Tales from the Tips, subscribe, and enjoy. I'm DA. That guy is 15-year tour caddy Mick Middlemo, who is still halfway around the world.
I don't know if it's actually. Is it halfway, or I am actually around the world? I think
I don't know. It's tomorrow wherever you're at, and I'm still in today.
it is. It is in the morning where I am at. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Somewhat like 8:45 a.m.
8:45 a.m. It's 4:45 here in the greater Atlanta area. We're just a couple of guys that, no matter where we're at, love to talk about the game of golf, both inside and outside of the ropes. But we come at it from a completely different perspective. You ready, buddy?
Yeah, I'm ready, mate. This is a different perspective. We're not in the studio because I
think that by the time that this drops, I think every single one of our episodes, they've been mentioned. So thoughts on let's before we get into what's been going on, thoughts on the Super Bowl. What did you think? What was your take? Did you enjoy it?
Well, it was hard to enjoy because I'm not an Eagles fan by any stretch of the imagination. But not really a Chiefs fan either, so it was kind of hard to watch. But it was a dominating first half performance with that defense when only rushed 4 and they didn't even blitz, and they just made Mahomes look average at best. It was it was one of the best dominating defense first halves I've ever seen.
So I selfishly took a lot of happiness in watching several of our former Georgia Bulldogs win now national championships and now are world champions. That's really what my driver was. Now my entire family was cheering against the Chiefs. They're on the Chiefs cheat bandwagon. I trying to be as diplomatic as I can be with them and say there's no cheating in the NFL, but
no, that's BS.
Yeah, it's just life of sports. I mean, it really is what it comes down to. Fans are going to just be fans. So
yeah, I agree, but there's no cheating in the NFL.
Your thoughts on the halftime show?
Didn't watch it.
You didn't watch the halftime show?
I haven't watched it yet. I am going to watch it. Obviously, because I was actually watching it. I was sitting next to my dad in his hospital bed watching it on a very small television. And then at halftime, I went down and got him some food because he wasn't too thrilled with the hospital food. So I took halftime to run downstairs and get him a toasted sandwich and a drink to come back. So I missed it.
Nice.
I will go and watch it at some stage because I've heard very mixed reports about it.
Yeah, I obviously being here with an urban station that I have with V103, mixed reviews. A lot of my staff very unhappy that he played, I guess, most of his songs from his either latest album or last 2 albums, and nothing his older stuff. Personally, I kind of did what you did. I was restocking my plate and eating all the stuff that was in our kitchen. So, so our season's wrapped up now. Football is in our rear view. You and I won't be talking football until
and I don't have to get a Detroit Lions tattoo.
You don't. Thank you for stealing my thunder. You don't. You're safe from getting number 28. No Lions tattoo. You were correct that they did not win the Super Bowl
because their coach is reckless and no good.
I think they just got flat out played by Washington. Period.
But even when you guys had a chance, and all of a sudden, instead of letting Jared Goff go down the field and be Jared Goff, let's run some trick plays. Let's run like triple, just stupid stuff. Done. It was dumb.
Dumb. Okay. Wow.
Anyway, you know my thoughts on your coach.
Yep. Right. We just get rid of Dan.
We'll move on with that. Move on with that
one. Okay. So since we had to make this change, let's talk about the last couple of events. American Express, Farmers, the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and then last week's Waste Management Phoenix Open. I'll take you back to the American Express. Sepp Straka goes out and beats Justin Thomas by 2. Thoughts?
Justin Thomas is starting to play good golf again.
Exactly what is in my notes. I think
Mm-hmm.
you and I talked about this as we previewed the majors. Both you and I are very high on Justin having a very good year this year, a comeback year this year. I
Yeah.
think he's going to at least get 1 or 2 this year if he
Yeah, I think so.
continues to play the way he is.
And Seb Straka is an awesome golfer. I mean, that boy
Oh,
can play golf. Don't worry about that. But it's good to see Justin Thomas starting to play good golf again.
yeah, it's good for the game. I really I know we're going to touch on waste management coming up, but just the excitement level that he's bringing back to the game. He looks like he's having fun out on the golf
Yeah,
course,
yeah,
which is that's what you've got to have your big stars playing and having fun like that. You know, then we go to the the farmers. Glad to see Georgia Bulldog Harris English beat Sam Stevens, but you know, to me, it was a little bit lackluster after the American Express. Um, I think the tour really needs to start doing some things about some of the fields and balancing some of this stuff out. You can't control how guys are going to play, but this early in the season, I think we need more of our big guys out playing than what we had. Your thoughts?
Well, I spoke to Harris English's caddy after the event, and see, I loved that. I loved that event. I loved watching it all the way down the stretch and stuff because that is a hard golf course. And when the weather's a little chilly, that's a long golf course, and you've got to understand one thing about it there. When it gets a little chilly there, and that plays long, I mean, there's no real run on those golf balls. That course plays hard and it plays long, and it was fun to watch a guy basically have to par out to win, and it was good. And so I enjoyed that because that was good hard golf to watch down the stretch. I mean, sometimes it's not all about making a million birdies to come back and win, but that's it. It is a good golf course, and obviously they're playing again here there this week. So
I mean, I'd have to go back and relook at the stats. I don't think he missed inside of 4 feet. I mean, he was on any putt. I mean, he was just money. He was locked in.
yeah,
Those par putts.
Eric Larson, his caddy said the same thing. He said he was just locked in. He said, and I know Harris really well. He's very cool. He has a very cool demeanor. He doesn't look like anything rattles him, and he played some great golf down the stretch. I mean, he really did. It was just hitting an iron off 17 and stuff like that. It was he just played good golf down the stretch. He did what he had to do.
Okay, well now we go to one of your favorite tournaments, the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
It is.
My guy, Rory, wins by 2 over his good friend and playing partner Shane Lowry.
Yep.
Um, I'm going to let your thoughts on it because I thought the week was fantastic.
Oh, it's
Um,
awesome.
I mean
Awesome.
that course played tough. I thought Rory played a level of golf that we haven't seen him play in a long time.
Well, when he starts to drive the ball that well, and when you're starting to hit it 350, I mean, when he cut the corner on 14, I mean, that's just a sick tee shot. I'm telling you that
Yeah.
you don't realize how good that tee shot is until you've been there, because those trees on the right come into play, and the fact that they didn't even exist with his tee shot. I mean, to cut the corner as far as he did on 14, and I've caddied there a bunch of times. I've never had a player go for that green in 2.
Never.
Never.
Yeah.
Because you just the guys you caddy for, that might hit it 290, 300, but it's on a different line, or they'll just say, no, I can't get it in 2. I'll just hit 3 wood off that tee. They'll go 3 wood, sand wedge. But yeah, it's a different ball game when you can hit it 360
Yeah.
and know where it's going.
Yeah. Yeah. I literally thought he played. I thought he played as well as he could play, but I also kind of going back to what you and I've talked about several times on this podcast, smart, calculated golf and playing within exactly the way he knew his swing was on. He knew when he
Yep.
could push it, and then you also saw a couple times where he backed off and he clubbed down and he played smart, good golf.
Yes, I have talked about that a few times on the podcast, haven't I? About course management and how you can actually do it, and just you can actually get your way around and win.
You
Makes
you
a big difference. You don't
you
have to charge all the time.
no, you have talked about that. We've documented that. So I also want to talk about Shane Lowry because I thought Shane played
He
probably
played
some of
awesome.
his best golf since last
Yeah,
summer.
fact.
Um, you know, I'm just you're looking at some of these guys that you really need up at the top of the leaderboard, and I think now we're at a stage where no matter what's happening with Live and the PGA, the top guys on the PGA Tour are playing like the top guys should. Um,
100%.
what so last week, Waste Management, the player, the fans tournament. Uh, Congratulations, Thomas Dietrich, first career win out on the PGA Tour. I thought it was actually one of the best weeks for the game of golf.
Oh, it was awesome. It was fun to watch. It was awesome. The crowds were behaving. The crowds were more in line where they should have been, which is fair because it got a little out of hand last year. There is no doubt. I've still seen some great videos on YouTube of drunk people falling all over the place and stuff like that, but it wasn't the rowdiness that we had the year before. But Thomas, he played phenomenal golf. I mean, you beat that field by 5, 6 shots or whatever it was. It's
Seven
7
shots,
shots. Yeah,
and it was
ridiculous.
yeah, and I mean he was just it was fun. He went 66, 64, 65, 65.
Yeah, I mean it's a scorer's golf course. I mean it really is. There's a couple tricky little tee shots and stuff like that there, but I mean if your driver's on and stuff like that, you can get into that place. But because the last few, I love the last 4 holes on that golf course. 15, 16, 17, 18 are just fun, good holes. I mean they really are. 15's a great par five. A little daunting off the tee. You got water on the left and a little out of bounds on the right. But if you pump one down there, you're coming in with an iron. But it is very much an island green, so it's still very the illusion is you go there and you're like, oh, you've only got 185 yards to the hole, but you don't want to miss.
Don't tug it.
Don't tug it or cut it. But and then obviously you go to 16, which is it's probably the best hole in golf and one of the best holes to go caddy for and probably play with the spectators the way they are, and then you have a drivable 17th, and then it's a good finishing hole. It's funny how the last hole now has changed so much because when you hit it 350 now, it's just all the bunkers just don't come into play anymore. You just pound it down there.
No, they're just pounding it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I was. I think I mentioned the last time we got together. I got a representative out in Phoenix working for our group out there, and we do a lot of stuff with the Thunderbirds and the concert that they put on out there. And he told me, he goes, Dave, you and Mick got to be out here next year. So
All right.
we're gonna have to dial up Stadler. Let's lock
Look,
our
accommodation in.
room and board in. Yeah, we'll have Stadler on. At least we know then we would have Stadler on.
Here we go. Well, it's just not my fault to have to travel halfway around the world sometimes.
Well, we've been talking about this for a while, but
I know, and I've been sidetracked the last 2 months. I'm sorry. I apologise, everybody.
it's all right. We're almost through the back nine, and
Well,
we've had.
we'll get to the second round. It's fine. We'll just tease everybody and then bring him in. We'll bring him in hard. We'll finish hard.
So up this week is the Genesis. Now, last time we talked, we weren't sure. Obviously, the Pacific Palisades were being devastated by wildfires the last time you and I recorded back in January. They've moved the tournament, thankfully, to Torrey Pines and are going to be able to play. Tiger, thoughts and prayers out for Tiger and his family with the passing of his mom. This past week withdrew from the tournament for obvious reasons. I mean,
Yeah, there's no way he was going to play.
yeah, I mean, she was, I think he said it best. She was his biggest cheerleader. She was the one driving him to the course when he was young and in junior golf and all that stuff. I think of all the things like even my own mom did for us back when I was a kid growing up, my sister and I think those are the things like you just don't. Hey, I'm gonna. There's jobs you can go to just to get your mind off of. I don't think that's a job you can
Golf
go
is not one
get
of
your.
them. No.
Yeah, you're not gonna go get your mind off of that.
Plus being the host sponsor too, so he's got a lot on his plate with dinners and things like that. So, and then, loss of his mum, and then trying to play golf. That just would have been too much for him. Way
So
too much.
so we're back at Torrey Pines. I know the last episode we talked about your favorite bar in that area. What were some of the stories that you can remember from Torrey that because we didn't really touch on many course stories. We talked more about the bars and the after night stuff. What would be some of the things that you can remember from Torrey?
Probably one of the saddest things, actually, to tell you the truth. There was a caddy by the name of Steve DePlante who caddied for Jim Furyk. He actually wrote a book with Rich Beam. I think it was Blood, Sweat, and Birdies or something like that. They wrote a book and stuff like that. And Stevie DePlante was a wildcat, party animal. Party animal. I mean, you talk about a caddy that played hard off the golf course. And I actually had the pleasure of rooming with Stevie at Q School in Orlando. And yeah, you talk about a guy that likes to go out and have a drink and all that sort of stuff. And he took it to the limit. He even rolled up to Tampa one time there, and with basically no clothes on and just a towel wrapped around him, driving into the parking lot, and had an issue that they weren't going to let him in because he didn't have credentials and things like that. He's a wild boy, but unfortunately, he was at a bar in Torrey Pines, and he left the bar and got hit and killed by a taxi. I do believe, and after having many, many cocktails and stuff like that, he was he got hit and killed, and so that's it was always a sad sort of time there. We'd always sort of get together and have a few drinks to remember Stevie, because there was Stevie DePlante stories could go on forever and ever and ever, but the fact that he played hard and drank hard and had a great time, but at the end of the day, he was one of the nicest people you could ever meet. Just a fun dude to be around. But yeah, he was the life of the party. But yeah, unfortunately, he lost his life there. I think he was leaving a bar there at maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, just sort of staggered across the road and got hit by a car and killed. But so that was kind of always a little bit. We'd always have a few beers in his memory when we were there and all that sort of stuff. And I'm sure the boys have, and they will again this week.
What? Let me ask you this: What from a course perspective? Because obviously we all know Torrey. What I've heard mixed reviews, good and bad, of the course from a player's perspective. What were your thoughts of the course?
I'll backtrack a little bit. Just the fact that they're having this tournament to me is amazing. How they moved it from Riviera to here. I mean, you understand one thing: Torrey Pines is a public golf course, so you can imagine how many tee times and things they must have had set up, and people probably flying in to play there and stuff like that. So the logistics of changing this tournament must have been unbelievable to move everything from Riviera to Torrey Pines. I think they've done a phenomenal job, obviously, to change the tournament in just a short amount of time, because they would have had some real hard work to do to make that happen. The golf course itself is incredibly hard. It's probably not one of my favorite golf courses on tour, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a hard golf course. I mean, it really is. There's some, from the first tee shot, to the your first shot into the green. It's hard. There's no real respite there. I don't think they're going to be shooting 14, 15 under to win there. That's for certain.
Well,
Especially if the rough is up.
yeah, there's a few players in the field that have an advantage. They just played there a couple of weeks ago at the Farmers.
Yeah.
So at least you know that the course, you've got the infrastructure was already set up. B, you already the course conditions are already set up. To your point, yeah, you've had to displace some public golf that, and I'm sure, just knowing the folks at Torrey Pines, I'm sure they took really good care of those guests.
Oh, no doubt.
And I'm sure they'll get it made up for that. Because I think the waiting list is over a year to book tee times out there, and I'm excited to see that tournament again this week. I'd be if I was betting, I'd be looking at some of the guys that played really well just a few weeks ago that might be
Oh,
in
yeah.
the field
Yeah.
this week.
Every now and then, I'd like to see them change the course a little bit, maybe move a tee occasionally. They do on some of the par threes, 16, they move it around a little bit and stuff like that. But even some of the par fives, every now and again, I'd like to see them move the tee just a little bit further forward and maybe give, just tempt everybody.
Yeah.
just tempted. Even on 18, it's like it's just if you pound one down there, you can have a shot at it. But I'd like to make it just a little more. The course doesn't have to play like the US Open every time they play there. I don't believe so. But
And that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, man, how many times do you have an opportunity to play on a course twice in 1 year? Let's change it up on these guys. Let's mess around a little bit with
yeah,
them.
let's go. Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, well, we could. All right. So yeah, we can make some of these par fives reachable or stuff like that. Just maybe make a little short par three out of it. Just change it up a little bit.
Unless Mother Nature plays a factor with the winds, and
And she can do that.
she can
She
do
can be
that fast.
she can be very fickle down there. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
It's no different than Pebble Beach, like they were talking about. You can hit a gap wedge on 7 one day, and one day you're hitting a 5 iron in there.
So okay, I kind of want to change a little bit. We went through your favorite watering holes all the way up through the players, which, by the way, when I was going back and listening to the episode, most of the time you like to spend a lot of time at private houses. You don't go out as much as one would have thought.
Well, we do a bit of drinking at the house too. Don't worry about that. There's not like that, but we
Oh,
do.
I
There are some spots where you'll come back in. It depends who you're rooming with, but there'll be 8, 9, 10 bottles of wine sitting on the counter, and there'll be a few cases of beer already sitting on the counter. You're like, oh, okay, we're in for a week.
Yep.
So yeah,
Just hope it's a good one.
yeah, that's it.
So we're gonna because the next time we get together, we're gonna be at Gustin's. We're gonna record episodes
hmm
17 and 18, and then we'll have Leo. You know what we have to do? We have to update our listening audience. Leo, I know. So for those that listen and love Leo, and we know that you guys do. So Leo recently resigned from the company that I work for and executive producer Kim works for. He went on to Mick. You ready for this? He went to go work for a law firm. Yeah,
What?
yeah, a law firm.
Doing what? Doing what?
Videography.
For a law firm.
Yeah. Guess he goes out and he records the wrecks.
Oh,
I'm like,
nice.
that's not fun. I'm like, what if you
No.
get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning? I'm like, this was a cush job compared to what he's going to be doing.
He'll be back.
But I've got great news though. You ready for this? So
I'm ready.
after he gave Kim and I the bad news that he was leaving the company, he came in my office the very next day and you know how loud and outspoken Leo is. Goes to me and goes, would you mind if I stay on with the podcast though? I will. And I said, well, Leo, we don't have any money. I can't pay you extra. He goes, no, no, I'm in. I'm a part of the team. So even though today's episode, he's not with us today, he'll be editing this, so he'll hear it. He'll probably just cut this right on out, knowing Leo, or he'll make some kind of funny jokes or
Yeah.
something about it
Yeah, he'll
in
beep
his
over you.
graphic way. But yeah, so Leo is going to stay on the team, but he is now just going to be, just kind of like you, an independent contractor.
That's good though. That's good
Yeah,
that Leo's back.
yeah. So I knew when I had texted you the bad news. You and I were both we were upset.
I was. I thought
Leo's
that was
been a
it.
big part of our launch of this thing, and we always have to blame Kim for it. But at the same time, you
Kim's
know,
here today. Kim's
I
here today.
don't let the listening audience know that she's here. I
Kim's
think
here
she's
today.
honestly, I think she's checking in on us. Is to be candid, she's
I can see her. She's shaking her head. Yes, that she's definitely here.
yeah. So we're gonna do this. You ready? There's three
I'm ready.
tournaments between the players and the masters.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm also working on something for us for the Masters. Our good friends at La Cima Restaurant Group own the Twin Peaks in Augusta, Georgia. By the way, I think you know what I've got in mind. We will let fans know through our social channels as soon as we have those up and running fully. We'll let them know. We may even do a little short and send that out.
That's exciting. That's exciting. I'm excited by that one.
So I got to ask, the Valspar Championship in Palm Harbor, Florida.
Yep. Love that place.
Do you? What any bars? What was the game plan in Palm
Hooters.
Harbor, Florida?
It was another. It was a. It was an. It wasn't called Hooters. It was something called. It was something like that. It was like a wing place, but it was very similar to a Hooters. It wasn't
Okay.
Twin Peaks, because I know Twin Peaks and we love Twin Peaks and we love to mention Twin Peaks. They're fantastic. It was like a wing place, but it was very similar to Hooters. Yeah, that was. We only went there every day.
Only every day.
Only every day.
Every day. Okay.
Yep.
Um, okay, and then the Texas Children's Houston Open, so Memorial Park Golf Course in Houston.
I was just happy to get out of Houston alive.
You got to be a little bit more elaborate on that one.
Well, obviously, because the course has changed. Because the course used to be by the airport. It used to be Red something or other, whatever course we used to play at. And then I remember coming out one night, and then I came out to get a ride to the golf course with Justin Rose's caddy Fooch, and we came out, and his car had no wheels on it. His rental car, his Chevy they had taken all the wheels off it. So we didn't go to. There was one little bar, and I can't remember the name, but it was one little tiny bar across the street from the hotel we used to go to. But it wasn't the greatest of areas where we stayed, so we kept a pretty low well, that's not true. We were there every night, but we weren't there late every night.
Got it. Well,
yeah.
And then the last before we return back to Georgia, the Valero Texas Open in San Antonio at TPC San Antonio.
Patty Mills. I used to go to Patty Mills' sports bar there.
Oh, look at that! Yeah.
Throw a name out for my good Aussie buddy, Patty Mills.
All right. Well, that's one. Hang on a second. I just lost something here. Hold on. Wait for it. I'm working on it. Sorry, Kim's going to get mad at me because of this.
What is he doing?
Sorry. I lost something. Okay.
Please elaborate. What did you lose?
The screen I was looking at.
So you were so basically you were doing two things at once.
I was multitasking, yes, like I always do during our episodes. Thankfully, usually Leo has two cameras, and one goes over to you when you're doing all your talking, and then I can multitask. We do have to thank our good friends at Riverside.fm for making this possible. Our little chat halfway across the globe from each other. So with that, I hope.
What about the big news? You haven't even mentioned the big news yet.
What's the big news?
The NFL coming to Melbourne, Australia next year.
Okay. Well, you know what my thoughts are about the NFL going overseas as it is. So why don't you please tell me? Are you excited about this?
I've never seen a sporting event generate so much excitement in Australia.
Really?
People talking about it, my friends talking about it and stuff. The Super Bowl here used to be a couple of friends would get together and we would watch it on a Monday morning. And now it's just become ridiculous. There's so many Super Bowl watch parties in bars and restaurants. You got to figure it's 10:30 in the morning here too when the Super Bowl's on. But I mean, there are so many parties. There's so many things planned. I mean, if I had the newspaper here, it takes up 3, 4, 5 pages of newspaper all the time talking about the Super Bowl. And of course, there was an Australian who played for the Eagles in it, Mailata, the offensive lineman. So that created some waves. There will be 100,000 people at that game.
I don't doubt it.
At the MCG in Melbourne, and there's so much excitement. And the list I already have of do you know people who could get me tickets to that has already started with me.
Well, do you know anybody that can get you tickets?
Nah, I think we could do a podcast down there here.
Kim, is that in the budget?
That's not in the budget.
That's not in the budget. We need a very massive sponsor to take us there.
There's not three of us. There's not 3 media passes that they're going to sponsor us to come down and do it. I
think we'll file the media credential through the NFL like we would normally do. I don't know how they would approve a golf podcast for a football game, but
with an Australian who played Australian football down it.
Yes, that's the angle we'll take. Did. You know what? Though I'm glad you brought it up. Liv was down in Australia.
Yeah, it starts tomorrow.
Okay, so what is the? I mean, it did really well last year. What did
Oh,
have you?
it'll be bigger this year. It'll be bigger this year.
Okay.
And you're going to understand one thing about Australians: we are very, very passionate about our sports, and we will turn up if you play it. We'll turn up. I mean, I remember them playing a college football game here in 1980 something or other. They bought BYU played Colorado State here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, and a football game was like, and they had like 20,000 people turn up to this like college game. When this is like in its infancy of really people watching American football.
Yeah.
But I guarantee if they did it now, there'd be 60, 70,000 people turn up. Because I guarantee at the MCG there'll be over 100,000. I mean, it's an amazing stadium, and I'm excited the NFL's coming to Australia. I know you're not, so.
Well, I'm just not a fan of the NFL going overseas anywhere, whether it's London, Germany.
It's a global sport now. If you're going to be world champions, you have to play around the world.
Okay, well that's another story for another day then. Anything else that you want to share with us? Are you planning on returning?
Yes, I am planning on returning. It all depends on my father's surgeries and how he recovers from surgeries and all that sort of stuff. But yes, I'm definitely coming back.
All right. Well,
one of my friends already wants to buy my car because he thinks I'm not coming back. It's been sitting in his driveway for 5 weeks, but I'm like, no, I'm definitely coming back.
Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder if I'm going to have to come up with topics for 17 and 18 just so we can get
No, I'll be back. Well,
launched before
all
players.
All my bartenders, Augustins, are ready to drop out of school because they can't afford their college anymore because I'm not there.
Yeah, see,
so I'm ruining the economy. I'm ruining the economy.
And the snow is gone, so don't worry. That we had 70, almost 80-degree weather last week.
It's going to be 102 here today.
Well, I would take a little bit warmer temperatures. We just got pouring rain. So
I know Kim has let me know the miserable weather that she's experiencing.
Yeah. Well, she took a work from home today, so she didn't have to deal with me here today.
Well, normally she's at a function or doing something, or she's like out drinking and socializing somewhere. That's normally what the go, isn't it? What she does.
Well, remember she was at Geek Fest. I mean, the Tech Fest the last time.
You called it. He called it Geek Fest. I did not.
Yeah.
Let's Kim, executive producer Kim.
Was not me. We just have to say what it is. So all right. Well, with that, thanks for teeing up with us. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and of course on YouTube for all of our new episodes and content. We hope your drives are straight, your putts are short, and your scores are low as we tee it up on Tales from the Tips. We'll see you next time, guys.